You are now listening to Season 3 of Blacklist Hustle Podcast. What is up, everyone? It is your girl, Mariana, and I am back with another episode of Blacklist Hustle Podcast. Welcome to episode 23, and I have a lot that I want to go over with you guys, so I just want to go ahead and jump straight into the episode. This episode would be a little bit differently. I really don't have a segment breakdown for today's episode. I want to give you guys a whole bunch of information, update you guys on things that have been going on in my life, personally, business-wise, and kind of what are my next steps and what's going to kind of happen from here. I feel like that's very valuable information, especially since I value you guys so much in supporting the podcast and, making sure that you guys are listening. And I always stated that if I was able to have a voice and I was able to do something with that, I wanted it to impact others' lives, impact others when it came to whatever it is that you do. Hopefully something that I say or do, whether it's on my podcast, on my Instagram page, or something that I do business-wise or as a next project, I want it to inspire you. I want it to impact your life. I want you to be able to take that and do something with it. So let me go ahead and jump straight into today's episode. What's going on? So just to kind of be very straightforward and blunt with you guys and update you on everything. I know in the last episode, I was telling you guys how me and Darian were on a journey of trying to conceive, and that hasn't happened yet. I have been down this road before where I wanted to have a baby and I was trying to have a baby and it just wasn't happening. And I feel like something that you want so bad, especially something like this, just doesn't happen. You're told all your life that, hey, you have sex one time, or you have sex in, high school and stuff. They're like, you're going to get pregnant. All it takes is one time. And then here I am in my adulthood, in my life, and I want a baby and boom, nothing happens. So I find so much irony in that, because it's like, well, what the fuck am I doing wrong? Because then the questions start popping up of, is it me? Is it him? What are we doing wrong? And then it also goes into that whole thing where sex isn't normal sex. The sex is great. Me and Darren have great sex. The difference is how sex is orchestrated. And we know that our mind is now triggered to where we are having sex to have a child and not having sex for the pleasure of each other. Though the sex is pleasurable, this is now what sex has become for us. And I feel like that's really strong to talk about, because I feel like a lot of people don't talk about that when it comes to the point of them trying to conceive a child and it being an agreement, instead of like Nevaeh, where I was trying to have her and I was, tracking my ovulation. I wanted her so bad. I was praying for her. I was asking for her. And then the moment that I gave up on the idea of, it's just not meant to be, boom, it happened. So clearly it was meant to be. It was just, there's a time and place for everything, and I have no control of the time and concept. And I feel like that's the first time where I really realized, hey, I can't control everything that I want. And so now, fast forward, in 2021, I am at the point in my life where I want this thing again. And I'm wanting it and asking for it and trying to do everything right. And I feel like the situation's a lot better. So it's like, fuck, why am I not getting it? But then I realize I'm not getting it because of the fact that I can't control when things are going to happen. I need to calm down, take a step back, and have patience. If you know me, and I'll be straight up, I'm pretty sure I said it on the podcast before, I am not a patient person at all. It's hard for me I more than likely have ADHD. I'm not 100% sure on that. You can diagnose me if you're a therapist or a clinical psychologist or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I have to move and constantly do something to entertain my time. I have a very short attention span with just being on one thing. That's why I start and do so many different types of projects. So the point that I'm trying to make here is there's just no way that I can not constantly be doing something or have something going on. So it's hard for me to take a step back and reflect on things and have patience on it and accept what is. I'm the type of person that likes to overthink. I like to overanalyze. I like to ask questions. I like to know the end result. No, not just the end result, but I like to know the steps that how it got me to that end result. So that's just me in a nutshell. So now, being this time in my life where I need to reflect and realize, hey, Mariana, you need to take a step back. You need to have some patience. You need to realize you can't control this, but this is something that is going to take time and it's going to work itself out. And I need to not get in the mindset where I was when I was trying to conceive Nevaeh, where I was sad, I was depressed, and I need to not blame myself. I need to not blame my partner. It's a great growing moment for us. It's a great moment for us to appreciate each other more and value each other more and do things that are for us and that's going to be healthy for us in the long run. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to talk about is where I'm at with my business. I know that you guys know that I have launched Secrets by Heaven. It is a boutique that I have where I sell lotions, facial skincare. I sell lotions, soaps, clothes, some clothes that I have, candles, I have makeup stuff, I have lashes, I have a variety of different things in this boutique. And I want to go ahead and say that I failed. And the reason why I'm telling you that I failed is because I started something and I didn't work hard enough at it. I started it working off really hard. I was doing research. I invested money. I did all these things to where's a foundation of building a successful business, right? Now, where I failed is the content. Where I failed is putting trust in other people to do what I expected of them. The number one thing that I have learned as far as being a person who's starting a business, because I'm no longer going to use the word entrepreneur, I feel like the number one lesson I have learned so far is expectations. You can't have expectations for people to buy your product, for every person that comes on your website to be a sale, and there's no such thing as every person that's going to come to your site is going to be a conversion. I need to stop viewing people as conversions, and I needed to stop begging people to purchase something from my website. And it's kind of backwards thinking like that, because it's like, well, aren't you supposed to market it? Yes, absolutely. Market it and be real and post content, and the sales and the conversions that come are going to come because people are going to want what you have and they're going to want to buy your product and they're going to love what you have. But begging for people to come to my site and purchase something is wrong of me. I can't expect people to do something because then I'm setting myself up for, later on thinking, okay, well, I expect family and friends to all purchase. When the idea is that's nice, but in reality, it's not going to happen exactly that way. So I am excited that I failed because I'm learning so much through this failure. And I don't mind calling it a failure because all I'm going to do is, once I'm ready and once I feel like I've learned enough from this experience, it's only going to take me to that next step of success. So I'm taking my L's and I'm wearing it as a scarlet letter, and I'm taking that L proudly, and I'm turning that loss, that failure into a lesson. And that's another thing that's really interesting is my key word right now is lessons. What lessons? What am I learning? And I'm doing this by, once again, trying to learn patience and taking a step back, even though it's hard for me to learn patience and to do it. I'm trying. It's a practice. You have to practice at things in order to become good and successful at it and to implement it into a habit. I am practicing patience so it can become a habit. So when times like these where there are failures, in order to change that scarlet letter from a loss that I wear proudly into a lesson or a win for success, I need to analyze the situation. So that's what I'm doing. I'm analyzing, okay, do I have too much product? Are the prices wrong? What am I not doing? And I know what I'm not doing. I'm not promoting. I was promoting at first, and then I was trying to build a street team, which those of you who don't know a street team, it's getting a group of people who you feel either have a good following or are good within the products that you sell or can help you along the way of promoting your business. Some people that I gave product to, didn't promote it. Some people just never responded back. Various different things. And that could have been me. That could have been a failure on my end, for not setting higher expectations. Maybe not, creating more flyers to post. That could have been a failure on my end on leadership. I always saw myself as a great leader, but coming into the e-commerce world and trying to be a leader at it and trying to dominate the industry, I already set myself up for failure, thinking that, okay, I was going to come in because I knew how to build websites and I knew a little bit about e-commerce. For other people, and I have the knowledge of doing research and finding out different things, and then even taking a leap of faith and investing, over $7,000 into product and into mentorship for me to be successful, but then not using it to my biggest abilities and leadership. That's one thing they also don't talk about when you're starting a business or you're starting to do something, is how. And I always like to say this too, and I swear this is going to be a part of my brand, but I like to say that I wear every cap. If I'm not marketing enough, I am still the marketer. Regardless if it's 1 flyer, 2 flyers, I'm the researcher. I have to do all the research for what I'm trying to do, and I have to see what the competition is and seek out people to look into for mentorship and stuff. So, I wear all these different caps when it comes to all these different projects that I'm doing. And it's just becoming more enlightening on me, knowing that there's more knowledge to failure than there is to success. And I would like to say this is that you have to learn and you have to know what it is to fail in order to know how good it feels when you succeed. And a lot of people are probably like, man, Mariana, why do you start so many projects and stuff? Because if you do follow me on social media and through my journey, not only do I have this boutique, obviously I have this podcast. And then my next project that I just came out with was I'm challenging myself to write a book within 90 days. And that's another leap of faith that I took. So I invested in my life, total took 3 leaps of faith. I have invested into mentorship and invested over $10,000 into creating an e-commerce business. I have taken the leap of faith and invested, I would say about $1,500 into mentorship and equipment for my podcast. And then lastly, I have invested over $3,000 into mentorship and a publications company to help me publish my book that I'm writing within 90 days. And I'm coming here to an end here on writing this and finishing out this book. And I'll talk a little bit more about the book here in a minute. But the point that I'm trying to make is I am starting all these different projects, and I refuse to use the word entrepreneur because, and I've talked about this on a podcast episode, real entrepreneurs and successful entrepreneurs versus fake entrepreneurs. And if I was to realistically, honestly categorize myself, I'm a fake entrepreneur. I'm nowhere near a successful entrepreneur. I don't have multiple streams of income or business investments or enough people that I know in a networking situation or standpoint to where I can put somebody else on. Now, I'm a fake entrepreneur because I have a business idea, I have a business plan, but I just don't have the connections. You know what I mean? I just don't have that one step that's going to get me to that next level. But I have heart, I have drive, I have the ideas. Now, what do I need to do? And this is me taking a step back and thinking the next step that I need to do is I need to get into the digital marketing world for me to be successful. I need to post more content. I need to be more consistent. I need to be more self-disciplined. I need to suffer more and spend, longer time doing research and staying up, having longer nights and having less sleeping time and less time spending money and going out and more time invested into myself and the project ideas that I come up with. You know what I mean? And you might say well, why would you do all that? If you failed at this, why would you spend more time and, run yourself to death doing all these other things and stuff? And my answer to that question is, because I have this gut feeling and I have this intuition, and I love listening to intuition. And I feel like you should always listen to your intuition. But I have this intuition, this gut feeling that says, Mariana, you're going to be successful no matter what it is that you do. But you just need to, once again, be consistent, have self-discipline, have more knowledge, and take that leap of faith. I take a leap of faith on every business venture, every project idea that I do. I deep dive in and try to get all the knowledge, but I really don't reach knowledge until you fail, or until I get that mentorship and I learn new things, or until I dig deeper and do more research based off of a failure. And I feel like a lot of people who have their own businesses or want to call themselves entrepreneurs don't take the time to think about that. You can, and it's sad that I'm comparing it to this, but it's so true, just being a person, that has project ideas and has a business mindset and wants to do something for it. But a lot of these things cannot be taught. They're just naturally given. If you know someone who can sail, that is a natural given talent. You can give somebody a script, but someone who doesn't have a script and you can tell them to sell the same thing, and you can tell if someone is reading off of a script or is just selling you based off a natural talent. I'm not Michael Jordan. I'm not LeBron James. I'm not Kobe Bryant. But the gift that they had to play the game the way that they played it and have a strategic mindset and the self-discipline like Kobe did, to train and, how he was, it's crazy to me because all that stuff cannot be taught. It was a natural given talent and something inside of them that made them feel and believe, this is me, this is who I am, this is what I want to pursue, and this is how I have to do it. It's hard to teach somebody to be a go-getter if they have no drive to. You know what I mean? And so I'm just really realizing that, and a lot of things have been dawning on me that I have been realizing that I definitely want to talk about and stuff. So that's just where I'm at with that business. So a lot of people and friends, family members have been asking me, hey, so how's this business going? I failed. But you know what? I may get a sale here. I may get a repost there. But you know what? That's my fault because I'm not posting a lot more content. I'm not on top of my email marketing list. A lot of the things that I wanted to do, and I tell myself all the time, I can't do this unless I have this much money because I need to set up, this photography photo shoot, or I need this videographer. I just need to pick up my damn phone and do it myself. I need to just get up and be like, Mariana, do it yourself. They say you can't, I'm trying to remember what that saying is. You can't send a man to do a woman's job. But in reality, the point that I'm trying to make is I can't expect other people to promote my business, and I can't have expectations for people to purchase something when I'm not showing what I have, I'm not showing what I need to do, and I'm not doing it myself because I'm having too many expectations of things just to happen and fall in place. So that is my fault that this business has failed. But it's okay because I'm learning from failures and it's going to be successful. I'm just learning all the skills for it to get there. So that's where I'm at with that. Now, this podcast, I want to revamp. I haven't been podcasting, and goodness gracious, I was consistent. I was doing it. But as life happens and shit happens and things pop up and stuff like that, I realize, I just need to pick up the microphone and pick up my phone and just record. So much shit, and I need to vlog more. And I say this because so much happens in my life where I'm constantly learning different things, and I'm saying different things, and I'm just like, well, fuck. That right there would have been good for a podcast episode, or that's some great fucking content right there. Where was the recording? Where was the video? Where is my marketing? Where is my proof? You know what I'm saying? Where is my consistency? And so I'm really trying to settle down and dedicate myself to that. I'm still in love with talking. I love to talk. I always want to impact. I feel like everything that I have to say, the stuff that I've been through, things that I research and look up, I feel like can be impactful for someone else who just wants to listen and doesn't want to do the research themselves. So I feel like I'm going to be more disciplined. I'm going to be more dedicated. And I'm saying it out loud because I want myself to know that it's on record and I need to be with it when it's on record so I can build credibility. So that way, if I'm not being consistent, someone to be like, hey, Mariana, you said you were going to do this and you didn't. So that's why I'm, trying to teach myself more. Hey, it's recorded, it's jotted down. You said it, people saw it, you need to do it. And that's why I challenged myself to write a book in 90 days. So I'm still in love with podcasting. I'm still in love with talking, regardless, if I get paid for this podcast one day or not, regardless if it gets to a network or not. That's always a goal. But right now it's a dream, and the goal is to get there. But in order for me to reach that goal, I need to be more disciplined and I need to be more consistent like I was in the beginning. I still have the heart for it, but I can't turn this dream on without, making sure I tackle the things that need to be done for the podcast. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that. And I'm also thinking about changing the name of the podcast. I love Blacklist Hustle Podcast, but really, I originally, when I was starting a podcast, I wanted to name the podcast Roundtable. And my mentor, Carla Wilmus, who has her own podcast, she actually has 2 podcasts. She was like, well, are you going to be videoed? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, are you going to be at a round table? I'm like, well, no, I'm going to be anywhere. Sometimes I record at the recording studio. Sometimes I'm in a room. Sometimes I'm on my kitchen counter. Sometimes I'm in my fucking closet. I mean, it kind of just depends. So, but then I started thinking, you guys really don't see me. So it's like, no, fucking no. Let's have a round table. Let's round up and let's fucking talk about it. And then so I started thinking, and so I didn't go with that name. So I'm like, what the fuck can I call? And at the time, me and Darren were watching a Netflix series called Blacklist. And it was basically about a serial killer who, or the most wanted man in America, who has, intelligence and different information on all these different wanted people around the world. And the blacklist of, people who are just top-notch, badass people that you don't want just not behind bars. And so I was like, fuck. And I was like, okay. And I started thinking, I'm like, what do I want my podcast to be about? And I'm like, I know I want to talk about relationship because I'm in a relationship and I feel like I have a lot of value to bring when it comes to relationships and the shit that I've been through. And I'm like, I know I want to talk about sex because I'm very sex positive. And I'm like, okay, what else do I want to do? I want to impact. I want to influence others, to based off of my lessons and my experiences, I want to help others. And I'm like, how can I do that? And I'm like, okay, society, millennials, what is the shit that we're going through right now? And so that's how I came up, with Blacklist. And that's why, my trailer talks about what the podcast is talking about, where we're talking about culture and defying society's expectations. And now that I'm thinking about it, and I was thinking about it from the beginning, the title has nothing to do with what I really want to aim for in this podcast, what I really want to convey through the speaker, in your ear, what I want you to kind of understand and get from this podcast. So I'm definitely changing the podcast name. More than likely the picture would change, but right now it's going to stay the same. But everything is going to change. Right now, and I'm saying it on record, I have a feeling that in the next 6 to 12 months, I'm going to lose a lot of friends, a lot of family. And I feel like I'm evolving. I'm changing. I've had like an epiphany. I've had an awakening. And when I get into moments like these, real shit happens for me. This is when I become more knowledgeable, more, eager to learn and self-educate myself. I become more awakened to my surroundings and how I really feel. And I become very vulnerable and very straight up. And it's really, really powerful for me because that's how I want to be with you guys. I want to be vulnerable. I want you guys to understand my vulnerability. And at the same time, I want it to be impactful. And I want to be straight up with my lessons and the things that are going in my life. Not that I've ever been like, shady or, non-truthful about anything in my past episodes. I just feel like it wasn't enough. I feel like I can give you guys more. I can give my audience and myself more by taking this time as I said, with this awakening that I'm having to give more. And that's exactly what I want to do. So that's what the podcast. And then, as I stated, I have taken a challenge, and I have literally went through the rest of my savings and spent literally over $3,000, over $3,400 to be exact. And I have invested into a publishing company, and I invested into a publisher and a mentor to help me publish this book. And I was so skeptical, because I'm not even going to lie to you guys. That $3,000 that I had in my savings was supposed to go towards a partial payment of me getting my body done. So the goal was to have another baby, and obviously spend money to have a 360 liposuction and be fucking snatched and be happy with myself and everything. And, just be like, fuck yeah. Like, I look this fucking bomb. I live this bomb ass life. I have a book, I have a business, I have all this. And as I really started to think about it, I was really contemplating, like, fuck, do I need to do this? Do I need to do this? And do I really want to spend this money and stuff? And then I started thinking, I can make the money back. I can do this, or I can save this, or I can double up on this and stuff. And then I spent the money, and here I am in the publishing company, and I'm asking questions. And, I do my calls every Thursday. We have a group call and group session and stuff. And a couple of things with this. Is it possible to write a book in 90 days? Yes, if you're dedicated. What kind of book am I writing? I'm writing a memoir. A lot of people, I feel like should go to writing a memoir. I feel like that's a lot. Based off the research I've done, a lot of people automatically jump to a memoir because a lot of people have a story that they want to come across and convey. And I feel like that's great. I feel like a lot of the books that are out now on Amazon, or a lot of the books that people are purchasing, are self-help books and books on marketing and books on how to be an entrepreneur. And those are a lot of the books that I've personally have purchased money on. And I feel like a lot of the books too is on spirituality and faith and stuff like that. So I decided to write a memoir because I was like, what can I talk about? What message do I have to give to people? And I'm like, obviously I've learned a lot of lessons since the pandemic and over the past couple of years, but what more can I give? If I'm going to write a book, if I'm spending over $3,000 on this mentorship, like, I better fucking get something out of it. Whether it be really impacting someone or really feeling like fucking accomplished, like, wow, I did this. No matter if no one buys my book, not even one fucking person, I want to feel so excited and so like, fuck yeah, can't no one tell me shit. I have a published book. It is a best-selling book and all this other stuff, and something tangible in my hands, like, I did that shit. I wrote it. And I was like, what message? What can I say? What can I do? And I was like, okay, let me write a memoir. Let me write a memoir about my life. And it's like, well, why the fuck do we want to hear about your life? Like, half of you guys don't really even know me, which is fine. You know what I mean? But I'm like, it's not just going to be about my life. It's going to be about lessons that I have learned in key, vital, or pivotal, as I use in my book, pivotal moments in my life that everyone goes through. We all are adulting. We all are either fresh out of college, fresh out of high school, or between the ages of 18 and 30, and we're trying to figure it the fuck out. And that's who my target audience is. If you know someone, or if you're in the age range of 18 and 30 and you're trying to figure out life and what the fuck is supposed to happen, what is it supposed to be, where did you go wrong, how did you fail, all these things, this is what my book is to you, is my lessons of impactfulness. You're like, well, Mariana, I mean, shit, how old are you going to be? I'm going to be 24 this year, 24. And you're like, well, how did you experience things in life? Like, what have you gone through that's just going to impact my life, or that's going to be a lesson to me? We've all gone through love. If you're not a parent, you might soon be a parent, or maybe you're pregnant or expecting, or whatever the case may be. And maybe you might not have a fucking kid, but maybe you know someone who has a kid and you can get a different perspective. I have a kid. in a friend group. I'm the only one with a kid, and a lot of my other friends don't have kids, but it's an introduction into my life and into what it is and parenting and motherhood for me. That can be a light bulb to them and something that maybe they do want or don't want, or maybe being a little bit more understanding. So love, parenthood, spirituality, and faith. I was born into it was really kind of confusing because my biological father, his family is Catholic, and my mom's side, they're Christian. So a lot growing up, my mom was like, you are whatever your mom is. If your mom's black, you're black. And if your mom's a Christian, you're a Christian. That's how my black family was. And then my Mexican side of the family was like, Mary this and Catholic this. And, you need a rosary and you need all the saints to sit there and protect you. You need St. Peter, St. Paul, St. Joseph. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's all get all the saints. Like, let's just let a group of men protect me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, fuck, what am I? And I feel like I had that, question a lot growing up was, who is Mariana? And, that's something that was just really wow, that's crazy. Who is Mariana? And so I feel like spirituality can, is a big thing on a person, a big, chapter in their life of who they are and trying to build who they are. Because a lot of the things that we do growing up is based off of how our childhood was. How you make a peanut butter and jelly is based off of either you just doing it for the first time or seeing somebody make it for you. A lot of things are based off of what you've seen and in your household, how you act. It is true. Your children and who you are a reflection of what you present inside of the household and the people that you're surrounded by. I definitely do believe that, but it can be changed and altered and switched up. Once you get older and you're old enough to kind of make your own decisions and, your own life choices, but we can get to that later. And I can definitely talk about that in my book because I have not started that chapter yet. So if you definitely want to hear more about my perspective and lessons and concept on that, that's going to be a really good chapter on you. But, in spirituality and faith, it's definitely, I found myself not being Catholic, claiming myself to be a Christian, but I'm a fake Christian because I'm not following the full practices. I've been baptized, but I felt something in that moment, but it doesn't mean anything to me now. I feel like I have a connection, have a spiritual connection with Christ and, a person above or an entity, whatever you want to call it. I feel like my heart is good, my intentions are right and pure, and that's good enough. And no, I do not pray enough, but there is a power of prayer that I do need to practice and implement more in my life. And those are just some of the key things that I know I'm going to touch in my book when it comes to that. And, because I understand that not everyone is spiritual and not everyone has faith, but I do believe in aura. I do believe in energy. I do believe in all that stuff. And something I'm thinking about, wow, I sounded like I had a lisp. Something I am thinking about doing or implementing in my book is a trip that I'm going on actually next week. And I'm going to Ecuador, you guys. I'm going to Ecuador and I'm going to do ayahuasca. And those of you who do not know about ayahuasca or what it is, definitely research it and look it up. But I am going to talk about it here in a little bit. But that's just something to kind of think about. And then the last chapter, I'm talking about career and faith. And what I want to talk about in career and faith is, I'm sorry, not career and faith, career is where I'm at in my career, where I'm at in my life, where I expected myself to be, how I went into this deep depression when I didn't graduate with my graduating class. I went into a deep depression knowing that a lot of people are graduating during the pandemic and they have made it. And then I came to realize that a lot of those people who graduated during the pandemic aren't doing shit with their degree now and in a whole bunch of debt. And I am debt free because I paid off $10,000 worth of school loans. So I definitely want to touch on that in my book as well. And that's really about it when it comes to that book. I am 2 months in, and this book is supposed to be done and completed in October, and I'm nervous. I'm fucking nervous. I spent so much time on chapter 1 talking about, in chapter 1, section 1, let's just put that. Chapter 1, section 1 of my fucking book is the beginning of my fucking love story, my first love, my heartbreak, my crush, where I feel like I learned so much key information. And where I learned my first fucking lessons of life, because I felt like I had to grow up so quick, not only just in general life, but during that life that I put myself into, I had to not only just be 17, 18, I needed to be 25. I needed to have an adult mindset. And it's kind of hard to even ask a 25-year-old, because a lot of us right now don't even have an adult mindset. A lot of us are still don't know where we are, what we're doing, and that's fine. But I was put in a situation where it's like, you're an adult, be an adult, act like one, this. And one thing I'm learning about this memoir is it's hard. It's hard to relive a lot of the things and talk about a lot of the things that I want to talk about and discuss in my book, because I'm trying to just not tell you guys everything and tell you guys the lessons. I want you to feel it. I want to be vulnerable. I want the emotion to be conveyed through the words, so when you're reading it, you can visualize it, you can feel it. And that's something I'm really, really working hard on with this book, that I'm so scared I'm not even going to make it to my deadline. And you know what? And even though I challenge myself to write a book in 90 days, if I get it done, fucking kudos to me. But if not, I want to really master this book. I really want to sell you a book. I really want you to get a book that you're like, wow. If it's the only fucking book you read outside of what you were told or taught to read in high school, I want to give you a book, or I want you to purchase a book and be like, wow. What's the next fucking book for you? Or that is the first fucking book that I read since high school or since college that really made me happy or really impacts my life, or I couldn't put that shit down. That's what I want from the book. You know what I mean? That's what I want you to feel. That's what I want so bad, so deeply. And it's definitely a milestone of mine, and I need to complete it. It's definitely on the checklist, and it has to get checked off for me. And for me to be happy and for me to feel successful. And it's crazy that I'm saying and talking like that and stuff, because it's like, well, what is success to me? And you know what I mean? And I feel like success has a different definition for everyone. And we need to get rid of the broad idea of what success is. It's making billions and millions of dollars and stuff like that, because the people who are successful and have that much money aren't really happy. And success for me is happiness with the ability to be with my daughter and be with my family. Success is all those things that I didn't have, which was a family that I can sit down and have dinner with and interact with and feel like it's a free and great space to communicate and do things with. That's what success is to me. Having all those things that I, didn't get to have, and I, really envied. Not a car. I'm almost done paying off my car. If I get another car, cool. If I don't, fuck it. Like, I'm at the point in my life where I do not want any debt. I don't want to owe anyone. Paying off credit cards, paying off the student loan was the biggest things that I have ever done in my entire life. And almost being done paying off my car is like mind fucking blowing to me. The next thing, is a house. That's what I want. I keep telling myself every year, I'm going to get a house. I'm going to get a house. I'm going to get a house. Not only am I manifesting it, but the reality is I was so close to it, but because I don't make that much, you know what I mean? Because I don't make what the houses are worth right now, I can't get into one. So I'm forced to rent. You know what I mean? And so I'm just trying to get in a place in life where I don't have to owe anyone anything, and I don't have any debt. So that's more valuable time to come up with projects, and more time educating myself to reach what my success is, which is more freedom in time with my kids, or, my child right now. And making her humble and making her understand that it's okay to, be humble, and it's okay to be vulnerable and to go through experiences in life, because those are going to be the things that are going to help her learn. And my biggest fear, let me tell you guys, my biggest fear right now in life right now is I'm scared that I'm not going to take enough risk. I've already taken 3 risks, investing a lot of money, but my biggest fear in life is not taking enough risk and feeling like And that's taking risks in projects and relationships and opportunities. Not taking those risks and failing. I want to fail so I can learn more. So that way, through those failures, I can teach Nevaeh those lessons and those wins to help her be successful, to help her understand more. You know what I mean? I understand that she's going to have to grow up and she's going to have to make her own decisions and she's going to have to make her own failures in life to make her own lessons. And so she understands. But if the 20 lessons that I learned, let's say in my life, out of those 20, if she takes 3, I'm great. I'll be happy. Because at least something stuck with her to be like, oh no, my mom taught me. You know what I'm saying? And because I never had that. I can't really tell you much of anything that my parents taught me. I'm really trying to think for you right now. I think my mom, she did tell me this. She told me not to cry in front of people. She said, when you cry in front of people, it shows them what your true weakness is. And then the second thing my mom taught me is don't say you can't. Don't say you can't. Don't ever put that in your vocabulary word. And I'll say it from time to time and I'll think of her. Little things like that. Even if I say it knowing that my mom told me not to ever say it or think it, I always think of her. Little things like that will make me happy for Nevaeh because at the end of the day, I taught her. I told her. It was a lesson. You know what I'm saying? So besides those things, like, my parents didn't teach me or leave me anything when it came to trading, when it came to anything about e-commerce, when it came to anything about what it is to have credit, real world shit, how to have interest, what is interest, how to buy a house, the process of buying a house, the process of leasing a car, anything like that. My parents did not teach me. Mind you, I only have one parent right now because I haven't had a relationship with my biological father since probably when I was in 8th grade. So that's just my life right now. And the relationship with my mom, Darian would call it unconditional. He would call it unconditional love because I will do anything at the jump of the gun for my mom because I love her to death. But at the same time, it's such a slippery slope because I feel like our relationship is so wishy-washy. I want to love her. I want to do things for her so bad, but I just feel like she didn't teach me enough and didn't prepare me that in a way I kind of almost, what is the word I'm looking for? I almost resent her. And I don't want to. So I try to do everything to try to not resent her. And that's something that I don't want for Nevaeh to do to me. Or for an example, the way Nevaeh's father is with his mother, it saddens me because she's so lonely that she just absolutely unconditionally loves me and Nevaeh. And I was so happy for her to welcome me with open arms, knowing that she does so much for me, even though I'm zero related to her and me and her son have zero relation. We're not in a relationship. We never were married. We're boyfriend and girlfriend ever. I was just his fuck buddy, someone who lived with him and happened to have his baby. And that's just the reality of it. And she's become a very important person in my life. So, with all that being said, that's my biggest fear, is to fail Nevaeh by not failing enough to not teach her any lessons in life. And that's just crazy to say because not a lot of people would see it that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I really wanted to get at on this podcast episode, is it's okay to fail and it's okay to want to succeed and have success, but you need to define what that success is for you, and you need to go after that. Go after what success means to you, so that way it's easier, it's more realistic. What's up, you guys? Right now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break into this podcast episode, and I wanted to let you guys know about my new book that is coming out this winter. It is called A Letter to a Younger Me, where I discuss 4 pivotal events that turned into lessons in my life. And I definitely wanted to share this book with you guys because I just go into depth of the lessons and the vulnerability and the story and behind the scenes of what really happened in my life for me to get to this point and learn these lessons that I have learned. And I take you guys on, this journey every step of the way into these 4 chapters that I feel are very pivotal moments for every young adult, every person from the ages 18 to 30 who are trying to figure it out and trying to go through this thing called adulthood. And is growing up in this culture and in this society. And I just felt like it was really meaningful and really important for me to give this to you guys. So be sure to look out for my book that it is dropping this winter, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. It will be on Amazon, and it will be also in Barnes & Nobles, and it will also be on my author website. Speaking of my author website, if you guys want to go ahead and subscribe to the email list to get any kind of information on the book itself or discount codes, merch, any information about what's kind of going on, blogs, because I am going to start a blog post, you guys can go ahead and check out my author website at www.author-mariana.myshopify.com. That is author-mariana, MARIANNA.myshopify, MYSHOPIFY.com. And also what I'm doing is I am selecting a street team, a few group of people to go ahead and pick a chapter out of my book that means something to them or that they want a lesson from of their choice for free. I will send you a PDF file. And all that I ask is that you write a review on Amazon the day that my book is published. All right, let's go ahead and get back to the show. Okay, you guys, so as I said earlier in the show, I was basically stating that in the next, I feel like 6 months is going to be very life-changing for me. And I say that because I feel like I'm still going to lose the whole family and friends thing. I feel like I'm going to lose people in my life. I feel like I'm going to add value to people in my life and not in my life. And this is really important to me, and I feel like it's something that needs to be documented and whatnot. And I feel like the reason the change is going to happen is for what is to come for me next week when I go to Ecuador, and also from this book journey. And then lastly, from asking myself a lot of questions and being very aware and being very accepting of all of these things, you see. And accountability. A lot of it has to do with accountability. You know how I told you guys earlier in the podcast episode that my boutique basically has failed. I have over thousands and thousands of dollars of product in my house and in my apartment in a room, base of product. And it failed because I failed it, and I'm taking accountability for that. And that right there is a part of the lesson and a part of the failure. And it's also something that I'm wearing now as part of a lesson and something that will help me reach success. A lot of people do not take accountability for things and for situations that are to come and that they are currently in. And that right there is what's going to hold them back from reaching success or their definition of success later on. Now, I've been talking about Ecuador quite a bit in this podcast episode. It's probably been like 2 or 3 times that I mentioned it. You're probably like, where are you going? Ecuador, where's that? I thought Ecuador was like maybe like a small little state or city or something like that within Brazil. Don't get on me about geography, okay? Not my subject. But it is another country. So I am going to Ecuador with my mom's best friend, who I consider an aunt or a godmother. I'm going to a retreat in Ecuador for a spiritual awakening. I am going to a spiritual retreat. I am going out there and I'm going to live indigenously for a week. I leave October 14th and I come back on the 22nd. And basically out there, I'm going to be on a strict diet. I'm technically supposed to be doing this strict diet for 2 weeks prior to going to cleanse my body and to be able to be more grounded out there with Mother Ayahuasca. Mother Ayahuasca is the feminine spirit that I'm going to be communicating with and having a spiritual awakening with. I will have a shaman, and I will be taking ayahuasca. Now, ayahuasca is a plant and a root or herb, a plant medicine that is brewed together to make a tea, and I will be consuming this, and it's going to basically open my third eye, or basically help me psychedelically see images and things of what Mother Iowa wants me to see, and or intentions that I have, and questions that I want to ask her. And a lot of you are probably like, Mariana, what the fuck are you talking about? What are you getting yourself into? You do not take drugs. What are you doing? Let me just clarify all this. It's a lot to take in. It was a lot for me to take in. It still does not feel real. I do not believe I am leaving next week to go to another country, to take a herbal plant medicine, to basically see things, which I'm terrified of, to get a spiritual awakening, come back, integrate it, and then hoping that I get all the answers that I need answered, or hopefully I take in and I'm able to implement what Mother Iowa wants me to basically see. So I am very on the same page with everyone where it's like, Mariana, what the fuck are you doing? And I feel like it's really important because I'm hoping while I'm out there and I'm on this journey and I'm with nature and I'm on this whole hippie high, I really hone down and really give you guys great words and content, or whatever you want to call it, in my book. Real emotion, real vulnerability. I'm going to not be on the food diet that I'm normally on, which is whatever the fuck I want to eat. I'm going to be on almost like an alkaline diet where basically I can't have seasoning, hot sauce, sweet, sex, anything on my food or be able to consume or do. I basically can only eat lettuce with olive oil, a little bit of fish, and egg sometimes. I can eat potatoes. I can have wheat and whole grain. That's it. That is it. That is what my diet consumes of, which has been very, very, very boring and very, very, very hard, especially not having seasoned food. I like having stuff on my food. I like doing salt, pepper, garlic, spices. That is me, but I cannot have that. So this is going to be very enlightening and very awakening, and I cannot wait to record this experience. I can't wait to share this journey with you guys. It's something that is definitely real, and it's happening next week, and I'm very excited and very, very nervous for it as well. So definitely stay tuned. I will definitely let you know. I'm trying to figure out if I can put a video together for you guys so you guys can see what I'm doing, where I'm living, where I'm at. They have very little Wi-Fi, and I'm going to be in a hut, and I'm going to be literally in the wilderness in the Amazon. And it's basically, I'm going to be on my naked afraid. I'm going to have my naked and afraid moment without being naked. And, I'm going to show you guys some of my food and, some of the clothes I will be wearing and the stuff that I'm taking on this trip, on this journey. And I can't wait to share and document it with you guys. Those of you who are very curious about ayahuasca, definitely take a look. Definitely watch YouTube videos because they will freak you out. Some will be like, oh my gosh, like, what is this? Some of them are very informational. A lot of them are very uplifting. A lot of them are very scary. Definitely, I feel like anybody will be skeptical about it until they until they do it. And definitely, if what they say and what I see true to it is, even before doing ayahuasca, is don't go searching for it. Let it come find you. And I feel like Mother Iowa and the ayahuasca plant and journey has definitely reached out to me. These past 2 weeks have been very, very hard and emotional and traumatic between family issues and with being overwhelmed for this book that I'm writing. So I definitely want to take this time to myself, have a clear mind, and definitely spend some quality time with myself and awaken and have self-awareness. And like I said, vulnerability and accountability and patience and all those great things that can consume a person, and that I feel like we lose over time. The more being, within our own ego and going through the motions of life and adulting and what the fuck we're doing and trying to figure it out. We lose all those things, and that's something I'm definitely trying to awaken myself and find. So The only way I can learn is by doing or by failing, and the lessons that I learned and the things that I, become knowledgeable about along the way, I definitely will share and want to share and feel like it would be impactful and helpful to someone. So definitely understand that I am going to Ecuador. I will be gone for a week. So if you are someone who can hit me up personally, I am so sorry if I don't respond to you. I will be out of the country. So I will definitely hit you back when I get back into the country. I'm super excited about it. And that's really all I have to say about ayahuasca for right now. Until the time comes to where I become more familiar and knowledgeable on it. And as far as like when I consume it, because obviously I've done research prior to my trip and the retreat that I'm going to, which I will definitely share about. So I definitely plan on also putting this content on my YouTube channel, which you can also listen to my podcast on. So I do have a YouTube channel. It just right now has my podcast episodes. So I do plan on putting a video together and posting a lot more content on there that has more information and things when it comes to vlogging and when it comes to my projects and how I'm managing things and how I'm doing things and this journey through ayahuasca. So stay tuned because that is definitely coming soon. Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to Blacklist Hustle Podcast. I'm your host once again, Mariana Garola. If you want to reach out to me or follow me on social media, please do so. My podcast page is at blacklist_hustle_. And also you can find my author page at www.author-mariana.myshopify.com. Go ahead and subscribe to my email list to go ahead and get newsletters about any promotion, any products that are coming out, such as my book, my bookmarks, my merch that I have coming out, and to be in tune within my community for my new book, A Letter to a Younger Me, that is coming about of the 4 pivotal moments in my life. And also you'll be able to find me on my personal Instagram right now that is still listed as _love_Mariana. And soon it will be changed into author Mariana Garola. So definitely go ahead and check me out. Follow me on all socials. And anytime you want to reach out to me, feel free to do so. I love connecting with you guys. I appreciate and love the support. Make sure to share this podcast with a friend, a family member, word of mouth. Definitely shout me out on your social medias, and I will be sure to retweet it and repin it and reblog it and repost it and do all that stuff. So I really want to interact with you guys. I really want to make an impact, and these changes are definitely going to be made, and I hope to hear and connect and talk with you guys soon. See you guys on another episode of Blacklist Hustle Podcast.